Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine and this is Raspberry Reads. Can you believe it? It's already November. I've been doing this channel since February, I think, and I am really excited to do my first ever gift guide. So I'm creating this gift guide early in November so that I can have it up for you in time that if you're looking to get yourself something extra special for Christmas, or if you're looking to gift somebody in your life a book, then hopefully these are some good recommendations for you. Of course, there's loads of brilliant people and on BookTube creating similar things. I have to give a shout out to Jen Campbell. She is an author and a children's author and a poet and disability advocate, and she always comes up with amazing suggestions, and actually some of these are suggestions that I have picked up from her years ago, and now I'm going to pass down to my readers. So I'll link Jen's channel below for you if you're interested in checking out her content. So yes, gift guide. So I kind of thought that I would break this up into a few, 4 different categories. So I've got editions, so from various publishers that do special editions. I've got some recommendations for fiction, 3 recommendations for nonfiction, and 3 recommendations for children's books. So there's lots of beautiful editions out there. I know that there's the Penguin cloth-bound classics. I think Barnes & Noble's has quite a few really beautiful ones. I lean down here. These editions are really popular. These are Harper Design classic editions, and these ones have beautiful sort of extra bits tucked into the story. So yes, obviously I would recommend these very much so. But the 3 publishers that I want to recommend to you today are firstly Chiltern Publishers. So this is a British company. I will include some screenshots for you. This is on my wish list. So they create floral design, mostly floral design covers with a black background of classic literature. Mostly, I think off the top of my head, mostly British or English literature, but I could be mistaken about that. And I have asked for an edition of a classic from the Chiltern editions because they've been on my wish list for years. I don't need them, but it's one of those ones where they're so beautiful that I would just like to have a fancy edition. So if you know somebody in your life that likes classics and appreciates having special editions of classics, then you might want to head over to Chiltern's publishers to check them out. Okay, so sorry, all my books are below, so one second. So the next company, which again is an English company, a British company, is the Folio Society. They've been around for a while, and as the name suggests, they create folio, so a book in a cover edition. There we go, book in a cover, special editions of books. They've branched out over the years. I've only started recently following them again, but they seem to be doing quite a lot of special editions of more contemporary works, and I think that's just because the idea of special edition boxes and books with sprayed edges have become so popular that they're wanting to compete with that market. But the 2 books I have are from a long time ago from my good family friend Alan. So Alan, if you're watching this, thank you very much for these. So Alan gifted me Rudyard Kipling's Kim. So Rudyard Kipling was the person who wrote The Jungle Book, and Kim is one of his other well-known works. And so they have some beautiful illustrations in them, and they're just really nice gift editions. That's another really nice one. That's the front cover. I think they've become more elaborate since these editions came out. These ones I think are fairly understated, but nonetheless they're very beautiful. And then this one is nonfiction. So this is The Grand Quarrel, and it's selections of the Civil War memoirs from various women. This is the English Civil War, I should say. And given my background in 18th century English history, this was a much appreciated book even though it's slightly earlier. And yes, again, lots of nice illustrations. I think actually one of the women that's featured in here, Lady Anne Fanshawe, Lady Fanshawe and Margaret, the Duchess of Newcastle. So those are all women who are also involved in recipe collecting. So I'm familiar with them from my academic works. But yes, we've got this beautiful edition of diary excerpts from the English Civil War. So if you are looking for yourself for a folio edition of a classic or contemporary, well-known contemporary work, check out the Folio Society. I will say it's very spendy. I think it's £200, but they just came out with the complete works of Shakespeare. And the foreword is by Dame Judi Dench. And I'm sure if you've got somebody in your life who loves Shakespeare, that would be a wonderful, very special gift for them. So yes, check out the Folio Society. And the last publisher I wanted to mention is Thames and Hudson Books. Again, this is an English company, and they have quite a few. So too many words. I know them from Jen Campbell's channel and recommendations. So again, thank you, Jen, for this. So I got to know this publisher because of Jen's recommendations for children's books. So they have lots of beautiful children's books, but in particular, I would recommend the Big Book series. I'll put some screenshots on here for you. And there's also a series for children of field guides, like seasonal field guides, and they're just beautiful books. In general, I think Thames and Hudson Press do really nice illustrations, and just generally the design of their books is quite artistic. And recently just published is a book called Elements by Stephen Ellock, I believe. And that one is all about elements as in like fire, wind, water, and whatnot, alchemical elements. And that one looks so beautiful, and I must admit it is now on my sort of coveted wish list. So yes, whether you're looking for yourself or for either an adult or a child in your life, I do recommend Thames and Hudson Books. I'm not sure what their shipping policies are for all three of these companies. I'm pretty sure you can get the Folio Society shipped internationally, and I know you can get Thames and Hudson Books, I'm pretty sure, through Blackwell's, which does ship internationally. So yeah, you'll just have to check if it ships to your country. Okay, so moving on, we've got some fiction recommendations. So 3 fiction recommendations. And the first book is one that I've already read, and it's a book that is going to be on my favorite books of 2024 list, spoiler. But I want to recommend this book because I think it's just such a lovely book for any age person, whether you're reading it to a child, it's a child reading it to themselves, or if you're an adult. And that's The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. Yeah, and this is it's a fantasy book, I guess, but it is set, it centers around a man named Linus who is a social worker for magical children. And he goes to visit this house to do a welfare check on the children, and ends up just becoming involved in their lives and tries to help them with society's misconceptions of magical children. And yeah, it's a beautiful book. So if you have somebody in your life who likes fantasy books and hasn't read The House in the Cerulean Sea, then I really would recommend gifting this book. You can get it either in paperback or hardcover, because it came out a few years ago. I think it was in 2020. Okay, the second book that I want to recommend, and this is on my wish list, is The Glassmaker by Tracy Chevalier. It just came out. And this latest historical fiction by Tracy Chevalier is set in Venice, looking at the glassmaking industry, but I believe it crosses a long period of time and many geographical locations. From what I've heard, it's got great reviews. I haven't read a Tracy Chevalier book that I haven't liked yet, So if you have somebody in your life who likes historical fiction and they either are a Tracy Chevalier fan and haven't read it yet, or they're looking to branch out into a new author, it's a very, Tracy Chevalier is a very easy author to recommend because she's quite accessible to a wide audience. So yes, The Glassmaker, I hope I get it for Christmas. It's definitely been on my wish list. And the third recommendation, and this is one that it won't come as a big surprise, I hope, to most people, but just hear me out. So this is James by Percival Everett. This is one of the most popular books of the year, and I think it's well deserving of that title. I think James will appeal to lots of different people in your life, especially perhaps an older generation who read Huckleberry Finn. And if they liked that story, they might be keen to read a retelling. It's just so beautifully done. I wouldn't say James is appropriate for a young audience, but certainly from teen onwards, they could get a lot out of the book. And I think it would really be helpful to be part of the kind of current discourse in literature, because it's been shortlisted for the Booker. I don't follow book prizes very closely, but anyways, it has been named and shortlisted for several prizes. Again, very deserving. So yes, if you've got a reader in your life and they like historical fiction or literary fiction and just really good prose, really good writing, then definitely gift them James if they haven't read it already. All right, switching gears to non-fiction recommendations. So again, 3 gift ideas for you. I'm starting to get a bit croaky, so apologies for that. In fact, let's have a sip of coffee first. Okay, so out in November, I think mid-November, is The Serviceberry by Robin Wall Kimmerer. So Robin Wall Kimmerer wrote Braiding Sweetgrass, which has become very popular. It's about Indigenous knowledge and our relationship with the natural world, and I believe The Serviceberry follows a similar themes. I'm very keen to get to it, and I'm very optimistic that I will still enjoy Wall Kimmerer's writing. So if you've got somebody that has either already read Braiding Sweetgrass or enjoys reading sort of nature-based books, then perhaps you could gift them The Serviceberry. So the next book that I wanted to recommend, and actually I want to recommend the author in general, even though I've only read one book, I'm very keen to get to more books. And this is Philippa Perry, and the book is The Book You Wish Your Parents Had Read, and Your Children Will Be Glad That You Did. And this was a really good book about how we are parented, and relationships in general, holding on to sort of past trauma. It was a really interesting read and quite helpful read. So I would say, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and recommend you gift parenting books to people because I don't think that's a good idea. But if you know somebody in your life or yourself who is in that time of life where perhaps they're asking for some advice on parenting, or if they're just going through some struggles of perhaps how they were parented in the past, I really do rate Philippa Perry's writing. She's got another one on relationships and love, I think. Again, I'll put the picture up here, and I'd really like to get to that. Philippa Perry is Grayson Perry, the artist's wife, and she is a clinical psychotherapist. So she's got some really good things to say, and yeah, this book really resonated with me. And so if you're looking for, I suppose, a self-help recommendation book, then I would recommend Philippa Perry's books. And the next book, and this is purely one because I saw it and I thought, ooh, that is beautiful. And I know a lot of people who I think would appreciate that book, is a new book, and apologies, I don't know the author's name, but it's called Designing Terry Pratchett's Discworld. and it's all about the illustrations and art that Terry Pratchett had in his Discworld series. It just looks like it was one of those, the cover is stunning, and I think that it will appeal as a gifting book to a lot of people. So I'll put a picture of it here, but if you know somebody in your life who enjoys Terry Pratchett or has an appreciation for art or illustrations in books, then this might be one to check out. Okay, and then the last series is 3 recommendations for children. And the first is, it's not one specific book, but they are the DK, the publisher DK Anthologies. Yeah, I think there's one Under the Sea, there's one about the universe, there's one about the natural world, I think there's one on animals. They just look like really beautiful books. So if you're looking to gift probably an older child, you wouldn't want to gift this to someone who can rip the pages. But yeah, an older child who has appreciation for, has an appreciation for nice books, then I think that the DK Anthologies are beautiful. Second recommendation, and these are books that I can recommend from personal experience, are the children's books by Emma Dodd. So she's got quite a collection of books, and most of them are board books, and they usually have a theme of reassurance for a child, whether that's reassuring them for permanence, reassuring them for independence, reassuring them for resilience. There's lots of really good books in her series, and they are eye-catching because they have a lot of really nice gold foiling on the pages. And I just really like the messaging in them. So if you have a younger child who likes that style of book in your life, then I would recommend Emma Dodd as an author. And the last books, which hopefully are familiar to a lot of people, are the Story Orchestra books. So here's the Nutcracker version here. And I have gifted this before. So these books are ones where they've got musical elements in them, and there's loads of different ones out there. And these make really pretty gifts for children at Christmas time. So yes, I would recommend checking these ones out if you haven't heard of them already. Okay, so I've been going on for nearly 20 minutes now, so I hope that this gift guide gives you some tips on bookish gift ideas if you're looking to buy yourself something or gift somebody a book in your life, whether that's a non-fiction book, a fiction book, or a children's book. And hopefully the publisher suggestions are helpful as well. So I'm always keen to hear your thoughts in the comments below. So if you have a book that you think you would recommend to somebody for Christmas, please put your suggestions in the comments below, and that way we can keep a sort of running tally of books that if everybody's stuck for ideas, then we've got some ideas to share around. But yeah, so with that, happy shopping, I guess, and I hope you're all doing really well. I hope you are enjoying whatever it is that you are reading, and I will see you soon in a new video. Take care. Bye.